When we think about creation, we usually picture a builder. A carpenter needs wood. A potter needs clay. Making something new generally involves gathering materials from the outside and shaping them into a finished product. But the Upanishads present a paradox. If the ultimate reality, Brahman, is infinite and all-encompassing, there is no outside. There is no secondary matter for it to work with. This raises a question: how can a changeless reality produce a universe of endless variety without dividing or diminishing its own nature? To investigate this, the ancient sages didn't look to abstract heavens. They observed the ordinary processes of the natural world, looking for clues in the way life actually functions. This requires a shift in perspective, moving away from the logic of a workshop and toward the logic of a living organism. In human terms, production is split into two categories. There is the efficient cause, the maker, and the material cause, the physical substance. The builder and the wood. The Mundaka Upanishad introduces the spider to challenge this division. A spider produces its web entirely from within. It is the architect of the structure and the source of the silk itself. The maker and the material are one and the same. The Upanishads apply this internal production to the cosmos, describing it as a projection rather than an assembly. The universe is viewed as an emanation drawn directly from the essence of Brahman. The metaphor extends to the end of a life cycle as well. Just as the spider eventually withdraws the web back into itself, the text describes the universe being reabsorbed into its source. In this framework, the universe remains a physical extension of Brahman's own existence, never becoming a separate external object. The text provides further examples in the way plants emerge from the earth and hair grows from a living body. This growth is attributed to tapas, the cosmic will or concentration that directs the unfolding of the universe. These biological processes are characterized by ease. A seedling doesn't labor or deliberate to reach the light. It follows a regulated internal order. The sages suggested that the laws governing the vast cosmos are identical to the biological laws we see in our immediate environment. The complexity of the universe functions as a living expression, operating through the same unforced respiration seen in the growth of a seed. The third metaphor in the Mundaka Upanishad addresses the relationship between the whole and its parts. Thousands of unique sparks rising from a blazing fire. This text uses fire to explain how diverse beings emerge. As the translation notes, as from a well-stoked fire sparks fly by the thousands, so from the imperishable issue diverse things. This imagery suggests stars, oceans, and humans are temporary modifications of one source. The diversity we see is a matter of form, while the underlying substance remains identical to its origin. A spark appears for a brief moment in a unique shape, and then inevitably fades back into the fire. At this elemental level, the distinction between the creator and the created disappears. The shift toward this imperishable womb represented a change in early Indian thought, moving away from ritual actions and toward a search for the fundamental nature of reality. Centuries later, the philosopher Adi Shankaracharya used these metaphors to establish Advaita, or the philosophy of non-duality. Shankara famously pointed to the relationship between clay and a pot. The name and shape of a jar are temporary, but the clay is the reality that persists throughout. This implies that while the universe depends on Brahman to exist, Brahman remains unchanged and unaffected by the various forms the universe takes. We see this reflected in the way individual rivers flow toward the ocean. They maintain unique paths and names for a time, but they eventually merge into a single, unified body of water. Whether it is the spider's thread, the growing seed, or the rising spark, the lesson remains the same. The universe is a continuous, unbroken expression of a single source. If the entire cosmos shares this single essence, it raises a question about your own identity.